Hello friends, it's your boy BB and welcome back to the channel. We are here with a game from the PogChamps3 tournament. PogChamps is a tournament that is happening online on the chess.com platform, where the VIPs are competing to each other on a beautiful game of chess. So this is round 1, and for the round 1 I decided to show the game between Pokimane and Daniel Negreanu, because in my opinion it was the most interesting one. So Pokimane, it's a Game 2 streamer that has millions of viewers, and Daniel Negreanu is the poker star that has 6 WSOP bracelet winners. Daniel has come to this match as a favorite because his rating is like 1100 and Poki's rating is like 600. But Poki has practiced a lot lately for this PogChamps tournament. He trained with grandmasters, so he is well prepared, and we're gonna show you from the game that he's gonna give Daniel a very hard time. And so without losing any more time, let's drive straight into this beautiful game, where Poki has the white pieces and she opens with d4. We have e5 from Daniel. We have the Englund Gambit on the board. Daniel has been prepared this gambit a lot, so let's see what Poki got for this one, because as we said, Poki has been trained with grandmasters for this tournament. So Poki goes d, captures on e5, eliminates that pawn, and we have knight c6 from Daniel, attacking the pawn. Poki defends with knight to f3, and Daniel attacks one more time with queen to e7. And now Daniel, here it's the trick of this gambit since from the start, where a lot of weak players here has the tendency to protect the pawn, and they go bishop to f4, and that's why Daniel chose this opening to play against Poki, because he thought that Poki would fall for this, and then if Poki would have gone bishop to f4, then Daniel would have this winning move here, queen b4. And it doesn't matter if you block with a bishop, if you block with a queen, if you block with a knight, or if you block with a pawn. Whatever move, let's say that you block with a queen, so you can protect this bishop, of course, and then Daniel would have just this queen captures on b2, and then the rook would fall here, and then it would be a completely winning position from Daniel. But Poki didn't fall for this. Poki went knight c3, just a nice developing move. She said, you can just capture the pawn here, I don't mind. And then she gave back the pawn to Daniel, and Daniel indeed captures the pawn on e5. And Poki decides to go knight to d5, attacking the queen. As we can see from the start, Poki is well prepared for this game, because she's putting Daniel in a very difficult position here. And then, as we said, queen is under attack. Daniel needs to move the queen, and he moves it to d6. And now we have bishop to f4 from Poki, putting another attack to this knight, and as we can see, this knight is attacked twice, so Daniel needs to defend this. And he goes f6, so it's the only move in this position that saves the game for black. And now we have e4 from Poki, defending the knight here, and now we have c6. And now Poki has a very nice move here, and she finds it. She goes knight captures on e5. Daniel captures the knight back with a pawn, and now not capturing, now the bishop is under attack, so and also her knight is under attack here. So it's only one move here that is very nice from Poki, and Poki definitely finds it, because she's prepared in the opening to play against Englund Gambit, and she finds the very nice move queen to h5 with check. And now Daniel needs to be very careful, because he's pushed back from the opening from Poki. And now Daniel goes g6, and now Poki definitely goes queen captures on f5 with check. Daniel captures the queen of f5, and now Poki captures the queen with the bishop on e5, and now as you can see, the rook here is under attack. So Daniel is gonna lose the rook, but at least he's gonna capture the knight here. So he captures the knight on d5 with the pawn, and now Poki captures the rook on h8. And now Daniel captures another pawn on e4. And now, as you can see, Daniel has all the pieces here undeveloped. And if Poki can just castle here and puts the bishop on c4 and then develop the rook to e1, it would be very, very nice, and she would have a winning position. She has a winning position, but she would win the game very quickly. So let's see what Daniel would have in mind, how he's going to develop all the pieces here. And Daniel first goes, Poki first goes castle, and Daniel goes bishop c5, putting pressure on this pawn here. And now we have f3 from Poki, protecting the pawn, and also attacking this pawn here. Daniel captures on f3, and now Poki captures back on f3. And now we have b6 from Daniel. This is a very nice move because cements this bishop here on c5. And we have bishop to c4 from Poki, tagging the knight. And now Daniel needs to move his knight from here, because it's under attack. But Daniel goes here b7. So he kind of offering Poki this knight here, but not really, because if Poki, for example, would capture the knight here, then Daniel would just have this very nice move bishop to f3, and then both of the rooks would be under attack, and then let's say that Poki would just move the rook here, then he would have just captured the rook. So this is what Daniel had in mind here, and Poki didn't go for the knight, in fact, because she didn't want to part from the rook here, and she decides to do a protecting move, rook to f1. So she protects the pawn, and only now she is going to capture the knight. But Daniel doesn't allow this and goes castle. So the rook defends the knight here, the bishop cannot capture, and we have bishop to h8. Poki decides to capture, to trade the bishop for a knight. And now Daniel, because she's up material and it's in her favor to trade pieces, and now Daniel captures the bishop, and we have bishop to c3. The bishop is under attack, so Poki sends the bishop to c3, and we have rook to f8, attacking this pawn from the bishop. So the bishop attacks and the rook attacks here the pawn, and now Poki could defend the pawn, but she prefers to send the king to a much safer square, and she goes king to b1. And indeed Daniel captures the pawn on f3. We can see that now that Daniel is down the exchange, but he has the bishop pair, and this light square bishop here is a very important piece from the game, because control all of this diagonal here. So it's kind of compensation, and he is also a pawn up. So let's see how this game is gonna go. Of course, white is better, but she needs to work a lot to win this game. And now Poki goes rook to d2. She prepares maybe to double up the rooks and then to put pressure on this bishop. And we have bishop to e3 from Daniel. Daniel attacks the rook here, and now rook with moving the bishop here is kind of blunder from Daniel, or a big mistake, because now the rook, it's not protected anymore, because when the bishop was here on e5, on c5, the bishop was protecting the rook here, but now the rook, it's not protected anymore, and now Poki can punish this move right away, but she didn't find this one to punish Daniel here immediately from his mistake, and she goes bishop to b4, attacking the rook, which is not a bad move, but Daniel here immediately goes rook to f4, attacking the bishop here, and we have d3 from Poki, attacking the bishop, and now Daniel goes e2. So she's offering Poki the bishop, enabled to capture the rook here. Poki decides to eliminate the rook on f4, because also her rook was under attack, and then would have been very dangerous. And now she captures the rook on f4. Daniel captures the rook back, and now Poki's rook is under attack, so she decides to move it and to send it to f3. And now Poki still have a much better position, but Daniel has one move here that can consolidate his game, and he definitely finds it. It goes h5, because the pawn here is under attack, and now with this h5 he has a very nice bishop pair here that are controlling a lot of squares, a lot of diagonals here. And Poki here goes rook to c3 with check. Daniel goes king b7, and we have a3 from Poki, defending this bishop just in case, and also giving some breathing room for the king. and we have bishop to h2. Daniel captures another pawn here, and now he has two connected passed pawns here, and it's going to be very hard for Pokimane to defend this. And Daniel goes a4. Poki goes a4 and Daniel immediately goes g5. He pushes those pawn forward, and we have a5 from Poki. Daniel captures on a5, and now Poki captures back, and we have g4. Daniel continue pushing those pawns to victory, and we have rook to b3 with check. Here Daniel should send the king here. Sorry that it's not how the king moves. Should send the king here to the center of the board, but Daniel goes king a6, and this is not a good move because the king is stuck here on the 8th rank, because the rook here slices all the way, and the king cannot enter back into the game. But Poki needs to find the correct moves here to go. The bishop is under attack, so she first moves the bishop to. She didn't move the bishop, but she rather attacked Daniel's bishop. He said that, okay, you can capture this, I will capture this, and Daniel indeed goes for this one. He captures the bishop on a5, Poki captures, and now we have g3 from Daniel. This pawn is very dangerous here. He could the pawn can be a king very, very quickly, and we have c1 from Poki. She tries to come closer to the king here, but let's see if it's gonna be on time for her to reach the queen is square. We have h4 from Daniel. We have b4 with check from Poki. Poki here did something that is very nice, because she tried to trick Daniel here, because if Daniel, for example, captures the pawn here on b5, she has this very nice move, rook to e4 with check, and then she would have just captured this. Let's say that king would move here, and then she would have just captured this pawn. It would have been very hard for Daniel in this position, because he can't push this one. Of course, black is better, but he can't push for the moment g2 because the bishop would hang. And it would be very, very difficult, but Daniel didn't fall for this one. After b4 check, he just calmly moves the king to b5, and then there is nothing more to be done for Poki here. She tries rook to g2, h3 from Daniel attacking the rook. She needs to move the rook, but if she moves it, then g2 to win the game. So she tries rook to. She tries to capture the pawn on g3, but Daniel just captured the rook. And then it was in this moment, because it was also the players were live streaming, and then they were talking to each other, and then it was in this moment when Poki said that where is the resign button, because there was not much left to be done there, because this pawn is gonna be queening very, very soon. But she was trying to find the resign button, and they just moved some. She was just moving like randomly the pieces on the board. She just moved king d1, h2 from Daniel, king to e2, and now Daniel brought the queen onto the game, and then king e3, and after king captures on b4, it was in this position that Poki found the resign button, and she resigned the game. Such a very nice game from Daniel. He was in a bad position from the opening, but he found to bounce back, and Poki made some mistakes in the middle game, and so Daniel won the first game. So this was the game from the round one, the game one. I'm gonna show you I'm not gonna tell you who advanced in the round two. I'm gonna show you also the game two between those two players, because also the game two is very, very interesting. And then we're gonna see who's gonna be on the round two. So thank you all for watching. If you like the video, you can just subscribe on the channel, because it helps the channel a ton, and also you can give a thumb up on the video. And I will see you soon with the second game from the round one between Pokimane and Daniel Negreanu. Thank you all for watching, and see you soon. Blessings.